Kristen and you're watching the fan club, and I feel so alive. I just saw Pitch Perfect 2 and I love seeing movies like that because it just reminds me of my theater days and my show choir days. Hashtag memories. We open 3 years after the first Pitch Perfect movie, and the Bellas are, about to graduate. They're performing for the president. Basically, they're doing amazing things. But while they're performing for the president, something goes wrong. They end up embarrassing themselves really bad and getting a really horrible reputation. They're not allowed to perform anymore. They're not allowed to take on new Bellas. They're supposed to go on this big tour, and they lose the opportunity, and it goes to a different group called Das Sound Machine, who is a German a cappella group. They basically become rivals throughout the entire movie. There are two people who are running, or kind of the co-leaders of the Das Sound Machine group, and one of them is Flula Borg, and it's so cool to see someone like Flula, who's a big YouTuber, in a movie, like a legitimate feature film in movie theaters, and he had a really big part. Like, he was in the entire movie. It just kind of goes to show you that YouTube is a really awesome space to kind of just put yourself out there and see what happens. I've seen a bunch of other YouTubers who have been doing, things in movies and television. Epic Rap Battle did a rap battle that they had at the end of the SpongeBob movie. Put out a video and see what happens, you just gotta stick with it. And I think that's so cool and very inspiring to see, people's dreams coming true because of that lovely little, place called YouTube. Also, Pentatonics was in this movie. Hello, so freaking cool. As well as a whole bunch of other real a cappella groups. I love seeing it. So after the Bellas' reputation is ruined, they really want to kind of get back in the swing of things, bond, figure out what their sound is, figure out what they should be doing next so that they can reclaim their title and win the World Championship of a cappella, which no American team has done. It's a high level to reach for, so can they do it? I'm not gonna spoil it. So Rebel Wilson as Fat Amy shines in this movie and has a bigger role than she did in the first movie, and I think from the trailers you couldn't really tell that, but Rebel Wilson, this movie, she brought it. And she has this really great love story going on, and it was just great to see that, Good for Fat Amy. And then we get a new character named Emily, who's played by Hailee Steinfeld, and her mom was a Bella, so she is a legacy. It's kind of crazy because they have this whole, it's obviously a cappella, but there's also kind of a sorority element to it. They have their own house, they have legacies, all this crazy stuff. But Hailee Steinfeld, she can sing! And she also just got a record deal, so good for her. But it was cool to see her in this role. I don't think I've ever seen her in a comedy before. From what I know of her resume, she's been in a lot more serious stuff. So it was cool to see her in not just a comedy, but like a musical comedy. Her character is really interested in being a Bella. She wants to get in there. She also writes her own music, and she's got a little love interest too. The guys in this movie were just so adorable. I couldn't get over it. And then you have Anna Kendrick's character, Becca, who wants to do an internship. She's thinking more about her future, which I think is a really great message to talk about. While the Bellas are great and it's cool to be involved in something like that and have a sisterhood, you also gotta think about the future, man. You gotta think about getting that job. So at her internship, she is working for a music producer who's played by Keegan-Michael Key, and he is so funny, and he also gives Becca some advice that is kind of the overall message for the movie, which is to find your own voice and to figure out what you want to say, and she uses that and collaborates with Emily to create some really cool music. It's awesome. I love when we get some original music, and that's actually the song Flashlight that is written by Jessie J. While I thought this movie was great, I loved it, there was a couple of things that I thought were a little problematic. The first was that I kind of wanted to see more of the other Bellas. You didn't really get to see much of their story. There were some characters, like the one played by Esther Dean or the one played by Brittany Snow, who didn't really have a huge part, but they definitely had enough that they kept the story going, They added something to the story. And then you had the character Lily, played by Hannah Mae Lee, and Flo, played by Chrissy Fit, which I just thought were kind of used as stereotypes in a way. You have Lily, who's like this quiet, kind of weird girl, and then you have Flo, who's this like, Hispanic girl, and that's kind of like all they made her, was like this Hispanic girl who had all of these weird you know, one-liners that you were just like, what does this even mean? It seemed like they were just supposed to be there to, one, add comic relief, and two, add diversity. And I thought that that was kind of a waste of their talent. They didn't add anything to the story. Like, if you took the characters out, you know, the character Lily had 5 lines. If you took them out, it wouldn't have really changed the movie at all. I would have liked to see more of the girls bonding and becoming more of a family, instead of just seeing, you know, a couple characters here who had some good lines and a couple characters here that, like, you know, were kind of not used to the best of their abilities. A little problematic there, but aside from those things, I thought the movie was great, and it had really great music, and it was fun, and I was clapping along and dancing along, and I didn't want it to end. It was kind of a long movie, actually. A lot of different things going on. But even though the movie ends with the girls graduating, I could definitely see them making more movies, especially with Hailee Steinfeld's character. She's a freshman. She can totally start over, bring some more Bellas in, make a Pitch Perfect 3. That would be pretty cool. And maybe they would focus on, you know, some other types of music. The first movie was about Becca kind of bringing in the mashups. This movie was more about Emily bringing in some original music. Maybe the next movie they'll, you know, try working in a different genre that they haven't done before. That would be pretty cool. So I am hoping that they do that, because, you know, Pitch Perfect is just fun. It's kind of like those step-up movies, you know? I mean, the step-up movies, they kind of, I think, get progressively not as great, but it's just more about, like, forget the story, let's just watch them dance. But this movie, I think they really did a great job of making a sequel that's exciting and fun, and isn't one that you're like, ugh, I could just miss it. Like, you don't want to miss this. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to leave a comment below and let me know what you thought about Pitch Perfect 2, and tell me what your favorite song was. I would have to say mine would be Das Sound Machine doing All I Do Is Win mashed up with Light 'Em Up. So good. I was like, yes, this is great! Oh, and of course, Flashlight. I thought that was awesome that we got another original song. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. I'll leave my social media links in the description box below. And please click that subscribe button if you like my videos, because I come out with new ones every week. See ya!